Good morning. I'm just having some tea, being rather early for Sunday morning. Um, so, in this clip, I just want to address a question that came up on my previous, on the first vlog, uh, by Amintas Neto, and he's asked me, great with Mike, how do you see Patek prices evolving? Will complications hold more value or sports watches like Nautilus rock, in your opinion? So, yeah, I would say off the bat, it's going to be the Nautilus pieces that are going to be the most in demand. If you're looking to buy Patek, uh, and also what do you call, have the flexibility of maybe selling it at some point as well, I would say go for Nautilus. You'd you'd be able to find a buyer, um, probably far quicker with a Nautilus than say with something on a leather strap, very classic, that doesn't basically appeal to everyone. So a lot of the younger generation probably don't really care for watches on leather straps or something that's like a color travel, which basically reminds them of their dad's or their grandpa's watch. Um, and so the Nautilus would, well, out of the Patek range at least, it would be the design that would appeal the most to the younger group. And interestingly, there's been some press, since I think about early April, and but there was an editorial. Let me see, dated April 26th on Hodinkee, where the title is "Amid Sharp Sales Drop, Tag Smartwatch an Unexpected Hit. Patek Stern warns against erosion of watchmaking values." So interestingly, Tag have announced. Let me find this. A model, Tag Heuer Carrera Heuer 02T chronograph tourbillon, priced at, well, a smidge under 16,000 US. And Stearns, I think it's Thierry Stearns, yeah, is it him? Oh yeah, he has said that the watch is nearly a joke to me. If they're willing to try to kill the quality of the Swiss product, I think they're on a very good track. Yeah, I think he's right, because it's basically devaluing something that's potentially reserved for the higher end clients and all that. It's now I am an engineer, and I work at the moment in the software industry, and I think an interesting analogy is, as a consultant, the kind of services we offer bespoke, e-commerce type integrations and development, but we also face a similar plague, I would say, in the industry, where you would find there are people in Indonesia, India, Serbia, who basically undermine and undercut the market, um, severely, and you even find systems like Elance, where basically you have these large companies throwing essentially slave labor, well, not slave, manual labor, or labor for cheap, basically, and they will basically say a price something that's, let's say, 20,000 pounds, a project that would say takes 3-4 months, or maybe even say 6 months, and they'll basically price it at a silly figure. And I think the same thing applies in this case, from the point of view from, say, brands such as Patek, AP, and all that. To them, the tourbillon or the minute repeater and etc. Essentially, they're ace in the hole for commanding those high figure sales. And the way they justify their prices, apart from everything, apart from the brand name, the provenance, all that stuff, is that it's, well, yeah, there's a lot of research that goes into producing a movement with a tourbillon, and how hard it is for a watchmaker to put one together, etc., etc. And so basically, Tag, or you could say Jean-Claude Biot himself, has basically taken that formula, applied current engineering practices like CNC and all that, CAD-based development, maybe even 3D printing, I don't know. And he's basically dumbed it down from something that's artwork, or sorry, the term is something that's a handmade process, basically, and he's priced it at a ridiculous figure when you compare 16,000 US with the price of an actual tourbillon itself. So, and I mean, there are other examples. So, for example, I think there was I think Mont Blanc earlier, they offered, I think it was the perpetual calendar or something of the sort. Oh yeah, and Frederick Constant are offering a perpetual calendar for also, like, I think under 10,000 US or something like that. And yeah, so example, so when they're saying you're getting a perpetual calendar for under $10,000, then basically the point is, first of all, the younger demographic, it's if they're in the market for a watch, the point is they would say, okay, why should I spend, let's say, 100,000 US or 90,000 US plus on an AP perpetual or a Patek perpetual, when I can get one from Frederick Constant for $10,000, and then that's where you get erosion in perceived value, I would say. But ultimately, this report also touches on, I think, the other issues like global issues that have affected the Hong Kong market. Year-over-year decline is 16%, which is shocking, but not surprising. Hong Kong is like negative 40%, US is in the negative 33s, China down by 14. Yes, it's not looking good. But on the flip side, the Tag connected watch between Tag and Intel, it has a demand of about 80,000 units, which represents, I think, about $1 billion. Is it $1 billion francs for the watch industry? So I think that goes as a plus column, but even the smartwatch, it's an interesting proposal where you, I think, wear it for 2 years and then you pay, I think, an extra. I think the smartwatch is sold at about $1,500, and after 2 years you pay another $1,500, and then they will give you a mechanical Carrera. that's an interesting strategy. But generally, I think right now is the time to really be shopping for watches. Um, if you are in such a position, because I think it's now's the time where you can have. I mean, there's potential of so many good deals. The second-hand market is just flooded with pieces. Even things that are considered hard to find are no longer hard to find. Just go on Time Zone and just take a look at the sales forums, and there are pieces that are just sitting there for weeks on end. I'd imagine if you go to Hong Kong, you'll be able to pretty much pick up any reference you want at any of the grey dealers, and you would be able to negotiate beyond what you normally would be able to because they're desperate for a sale. If you consider 16% year on year loss to the market, and things are going to keep going that way, what does that imply for the second hand market? It just means that watches are just going to keep staying stagnant in the displays of these great dealers, and they're just not going to move much. So they're just going to have stuck inventory, a drop in revenue. Yeah. So that's just the situation of I think where things are. Of course, on the going back to the original question, the question about complications and Patek holding value, I think that only applies to the Patek pieces, say above 90,000 US. So let's say, for example, say 5960p, and maybe the 5170 chrono, 5270. These are all the top end pieces, and that's not. I mean, these are not miniature repeater level pieces, but these are certainly on the higher end of the Patek pricing scale, and those will more or less hold their value. But of course, what the question doesn't ask is the loss or depreciation on buying new. So you would of course lose it as you if you're buying brand new and you walk out of the boutique or salon, you're taking a hit. And anyone who's buying brand new wouldn't really care as such because you're of the mindset that you're getting something brand new. You're not getting someone's hand-me-down. Mind my saying that in the sense it's not a hand-me-down. You're basically paying a second-hand price minus the depreciation, but you're basically getting something that's been used and enjoyed by somebody else and potentially scratched by somebody else, may have been dropped by somebody else, may have been mishandled, all that. And so you're getting a brand new car straight. It's essentially this analogy of getting a car straight off the manufacturing lot, and it's brand spanking new. And so for a lot of us, I would say it's worth paying the difference to have something that's yours and yours only to enjoy, and it works out if you have a plan to keep the watch and not sell it off anytime soon. But if you do go that route, remember that you will be taking that hit on depreciation factor of having bought brand new. So if you take that aside, it will more or less hold its value against whatever the value that the second-hand market states, and if it's potentially in the $120,000 range, or let's say it's a 5270, those type of pieces may appreciate a bit. But I think I looked sometime back on Chrono 24, and those prices for the 5270 even were significantly below the retail that the Geneva Salon was asking for. Um, well, I hope that at least wraps up um, this. Well, it does wrap up this vlog, but I hope I addressed Neto's question. Um, well, I do hope to post a few more clips maybe later on this week, and I will post another video talking about some plans I have in the work, and see how it goes. Well, until next time, do subscribe, give me a like, let me know your thoughts. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask me, and I will follow up in the next vlog. Cheers.